This time we start our list with a recording from Japan. This video is so fascinating because it was captured by a television crew recording reports from the police station. At first glance, an ordinary recording of a report, but observant viewers probably notice something disturbing. At one point, a mysterious hand appears behind the reporter's back and tries to touch the man. As you can see, it's practically impossible for anyone to hide behind the man. What do you think? Was there really someone behind him? Or maybe they accidentally caught something paranormal? It's up to you. So now let's watch Hiro and Tomo, who this time have been invited by the owner to investigate a seemingly quiet house. About a dozen years ago, the father of the current owner purchased this property and started renting it out. Unfortunately, the frequency with which new tenants left after just a few months was suspicious enough that the family began to look into the history of the place. It turned out that this building is supposedly haunted. In the past, Tomo, Hiro, and Mariana conducted an investigation there. However, Hiro still insists that the previous investigation was not thorough enough and is dissatisfied with its outcome. So, this time, the team, consisting of Tomo, Hiro, and their cameraman Zushi, ventured into this inhospitable place. The first few minutes pass without an incident, but when Hiro enters one of the rooms, he captures something that would send shivers down anyone's spine.
出ましたね。どっちだ？こっちか。あれ？こっちか。こっちか。こっちは？開かない。あ、開かないんだこれ。開かない。あれ？これ開かなくない？いや、開かない。なんか全部揃っちゃってない？そう。これ開かないもんね。で、問題のね、三角形の部屋がこの先にあるわけでね、前回も三角形の部屋で、検証はしたじゃん、そうすると三角形の部屋の目の前まで来ますよと、だけどちょっと近づこうとするといなくなっちゃうっていうのを繰り返したんだけど、だから今回ここだけに集中するんじゃなくて、やっぱり全体を検証しつつ、ここもやりつつっていう風でやっていこうと思う。そうだ。じゃあ問題のいよいよ行ってみようか。で、この謎階段ね。うわ、びっくりした。待って。何が？なんか待って。違うか。ね、何が？なんか見えたね。嘘。なんか鏡見えた。わかんない。違うか。気のせいか。とりあえずこっちか。で、ここがどん詰まりの1個目の角部屋ね。
After Hiro opens the door and steps inside, he notices stairs and something else at the bottom. But literally a second later, whatever it was disappears. If we slow down the footage, we can see semi-transparent feet at the bottom. The silhouette is quite blurry, similar to what Chris and Frank captured. However, Hiro doesn't fully realize what he has caught on camera, and the trio continues their investigation. Until Hiro decides to stay completely alone in the building. After a few minutes of wandering through the rooms,
何この影？今車。どういうこと？うん。いや、今ちょっと目の前にいるわ。目の前にいる？なんだろうこれ。今こっち。いける。どこにいる？ヒロ君は。待って、ちょっと状況とりあえず行くわじゃあ。わかった。 負けちゃうか。これ目の前にいたらどうしよう。おお、びっくりした。
Hiro clearly hears someone behind the door and is completely terrified. Additionally, we see a mysterious shadow in front of his door. It looks as if someone is standing directly at the entrance of this room. Hiro can't take it anymore and calls Tomo to come and get him. A few minutes later, the shadow simply disappears. And just moments later, Tomo opens the door. But that wasn't the end of the night's surprises.
なんかいた
いなかったよ。階段
なんかいなかった。
いや、何にもいなかった。
何もあってない。
合ってない。
2本足の影ずっと。いやもう足はもう確実 100% つってるから。まあちょっと変な感覚なんだけど、やっぱりちょっとこの実体というか、映像には収められない感じだね。ここまでやっても無理なら。僕ずっと一人でやっちゃってたからあれだけど。行こうか。あとはちょっとカメラのデータを見よう。
そうだね。
OK。
When Hiro closes the door to the room he was just in moments ago, we see something unsettling. Inside, there is a motionless figure standing still. Hiro doesn't notice it and shuts the door. What exactly happened that night? Who did Hiro manage to record at the bottom of the stairs? Who was standing outside the room he was in, and who did they capture just before leaving the building? So many questions and no answers. But what are your thoughts? Gashan from the popular Japanese YouTube channel Clip Store finds himself near a toilet. Yes, a toilet. However, it turns out this spot is just one of several places that caught Gashan's interest. Initially, he went to a fishing area where anglers tell stories of a mysterious woman who supposedly drowned there and now haunts visitors. Despite exploring the fishing area, he couldn't capture anything concrete. So, he decided to move to a campsite with another rumor. Allegedly, a woman was murdered by several men in the toilet, and like the fishing spot, this place is haunted by her spirit. Gashan decided to thoroughly investigate, discovering that the ghost only appears under specific circumstances. First, you must honk, then turn the lights on and off, supposedly revealing the apparition.
次はですね、ヘッドライトを消してクラクションを鳴らしてヘッドライトをつける。やっています。何？びっくりした。
While trying to summon the ghost, something intriguing happens. When Gashan turns the lights off again, something hits the car. Frightened, he observes the surroundings but sees no one. He exits and checks the vehicle and area, finding nothing. He decides to record the toilet and continue his investigation. Returning to the car, he notices something unsettling.
There are watermarks on the back seat that weren't there a few minutes earlier, as if someone soaking wet sat there. Without any additional phenomena, Gashan completes his investigation, ending with the chilling discovery. So, did you notice anything disturbing? No? Okay, let's play that again, but this time we'll enhance the footage. Did you spot the mysterious figure in the rearview mirror? It might have been difficult to see the first time around, but with the enhanced footage, it becomes clearer. What's more terrifying is that Gashan managed to capture the ghost, or that a terrifyingly pale apparition was sitting right behind him. Is this the ghost haunting the toilet, or the apparition that appears at the fishing spot, possibly explaining the watermarks on the back seat? As always, I leave the final judgment to you.
Shiru raises the bar this time and visits an even more terrifying place. He was recently contacted by Mr. H, who owns a flat that has a very dark past. There was a mysterious murder in the apartment where 2 people died, both from suffocation. What's even more terrifying is that no one had been caught by then, and the whole event was so loud that it was mentioned in the news and on the internet. Shiru couldn't pass up this opportunity and agreed to stay with Mr. H for a few nights. Nothing happened during the first one, but the next day, something spine-chilling happened. With Shiru, and this time, a lot of inexplicable phenomena happen. At the beginning, we see a strange orb, and then Mr. H appears to be suffocating. But have you noticed anything else? At first, I didn't notice it myself, but we can see movement in the doorway. First, something resembling a hand tries to touch the door, and a moment later it tries to do it again. During the third day, Shiru learns from the owner about a haunted place in the area, which also has a dark history. Similar case, a teenager was found brutally murdered near the bridge. In this case, the perpetrator has not been found to this day.
うわ、これ怖いわ。これ息できますね。え、鳥がある。知ってました？いや。あ、でも綺麗ですね。あ、スピットボックスだけやってみていいですか？あ、大丈夫ですよ。誰かいらっしゃいますかね、ここに。ここで亡くなった方とかおられますか？もしいらっしゃいましたら、一言何かこの電波に。お、男？今男でしたよね。なんで男なんだろう。ここでもし殺害された女性の方とかいらっしゃいましたら、一言何かいただけませんでしょうか。
When trying to contact via spirit box, Shiru and Mr. H unknowingly missed something terrifying. There was a mysterious silhouette hiding behind one of the trees. But when the flashlight's light went there again, no one was standing at the tree anymore. After this accidental recording, Shiru made an agreement with the owner that he would be left alone the next night. But what happened right before is a bit creepy.
いや、ちょっと家の周りとかね、映せないけど、ここ、マジで。家の周り、住宅街めっちゃ静かなんだよね。あれ、人立ってる？ てかここマジうるさいな。人の声に聞こえてマジで。待って、何あれ。
Suddenly, someone rings the doorbell in the middle of the night. Shiro goes to the door and checks who it is through the peephole. There is no one in the corridor, but there is clearly someone standing in the window. Shiro opens the door but finds no one there. Who the hell was that? A ghost, or maybe a person who was at the door the day before? However, what do you think about Shiro's 4-day investigation? Did he manage to record mysterious paranormal activity in the apartment where the double murder was committed? Who or what tried to open the door? Who was standing behind the tree while visiting the haunted place next to the bridge? And most importantly, who was the mysterious stalker he met on the stairs? Did he come back a day later? Or maybe it wasn't a person but a ghost? As usual, too many questions and no answers. So, folks, you are the judges. You decide. Also, if you want to watch the full episode of this investigation and many more, visit his YouTube channel, Kuroshiro. Mr. Shiraku is one of the researchers from the Poor Middle-Aged TV channel who went to investigate the haunted tunnel alone. There is an interesting story surrounding it. Once, there were tracks running through the tunnel, but one day there was an accident in which a person died. One of the train drivers was responsible for everything and later admitted his mistake. Mr. Shiraku was fascinated by this story because there were rumors that even before the accident, this place was considered evil and haunted, and apparently something possessed the driver, and that's why the accident happened. Nevertheless, Shiraku decided to go to this place completely alone.
マジでさ、こういうとこからこうやって、やっぱこの高さっていうのが怖いけど、どうしてもリアリティだよね。この白線の感じと。いやでも一生来ることのない電車をさ、こうやって待つわけだから。ちょっと待って。ちょっと待って、本当に怖い。もう手になんかついてたって。虫？
You're probably wondering what really happened, because the recording doesn't show much. Once again, we have to increase the brightness and slow down the recording to see anything. But once we do this, we'll understand why Shiraku was so confused. In the enhanced image, we can see someone else's hand that tries to touch him. Shiraku immediately turns around, but there is no one nearby. So, who did this hand belong to? Was it the spirit of the person who died in the accident trying to communicate with him? It's also possible that it's all fake, but it's not me who makes this decision, it's you. This time, Mr. K and Abe visited director Akira's apartment, who rents this flat to shoot music videos or other music-related projects. But the longer he stayed in this place, the weirder it started to get. Everyone who was in the apartment felt the presence of someone else. Many times, his assistants recorded videos and told him that the apartment was haunted. After receiving only negative information, Akira decided to pass the information and the place to Mr. K and Abe to find out what was going on there.
じゃあさっきは何の音？何かしらの物音がしたんですけど、怪奇現象とかそういった音とかではないと思います。部屋がどうなってるかいろいろ撮っていきますね。エアコンとかベランダ、ソファーとテーブル、至ってシンプルな誰もいない。この手すりの音と玄関の扉、それぐらい。待って、またドア、今ドアの音しました。
When Mr. K is alone, the door to the room closes by itself. Immediately, the man goes into the corridor. Perhaps someone who closed the door is still there. He finds no one. A few minutes later, the whole situation repeats itself. Mr. K goes out into the corridor again, empty. But did you notice something else? After reading the comments, many people noticed something that didn't fit there. After examining the video even more closely, it's possible that viewers were right. Well, you probably remember when Mr. K hears the door closing and goes out into the corridor. He doesn't meet anyone, right? Well, you can see something in the reflection of the door. When he opens the door, opposite in the reflection, you can see the figure of a woman with black, long and lush hair. Many viewers noticed this and said it was 100% a ghost. Of course, how many of you are wondering whether it is really something paranormal, a shadow, a ghost, or nothing at all? This is where things get even more interesting. While analyzing this phenomenon, I remembered that Mr. K experiences the same thing a few minutes later. He hears the door closing, goes out, and it's empty again. I compared these two recordings, and it turned out that the second time there was nothing in the reflection. No strange shape, no shadows, nothing. So, what the hell was that? You have to come to your own conclusions. Nevertheless, not long after this, the team ends their investigation. But after a few days, Akira sends them a recording of his assistant, who, while visiting the apartment, caught something that he cannot explain. His assistant enters the apartment. He carefully checks every nook and cranny. At one point, he turns towards the balcony for a second, where he catches the mysterious black silhouette. Unaware of what it is on the balcony, he goes there, but to our surprise, there is no one. Was there this mysterious apparition? Did Akira's assistant manage to capture the sinister entity living in this apartment? What really closed the door in the room twice? And most importantly, did Mr. K really catch the ghost then? Many questions and no answers. So, folks, what do you think about this investigation?
In the meantime, we return to Japan, where this time, instead of visiting a bathroom like Gashan, we will investigate a supposedly haunted temple with Kuru. He went to this exact location after receiving a message from a viewer who, along with friends, visited this place. During their stay, they experienced an inexplicable phenomenon where a black figure unexpectedly emerged from the building, scaring the group, who promptly left. After reading the message, Kuru immediately decided to verify the location. After leaving his vehicle and walking a considerable distance, Kuru reached his destination and began the investigation.
失礼します。めっちゃ暗いな。これ暗視じゃないと見えへんわ。うわ、すごっ。こっちは記念碑かな。記念碑やな。なんか声聞こえた気がした。
We see the temple and the surrounding area. Surely, each of you noticed the mysterious anomaly during this segment. If not, here's a hint. We have a very similar situation to a few weeks ago when Mr. Shiroku visited a haunted tunnel and was touched by a mysterious hand. This time, it's harder to detect because Kuro did not react at all after being touched. If we slow down the recording appropriately, we indeed see a hand touching Kuro's hand. Of course, one could argue it was his other hand, but how could he be holding the camera? We conclude that someone else was there with him. Unaware of this encounter, Kuro continues, sets up his equipment, and tries to communicate with the spirit.
あんまり何か現象っていうのは感じられないです。ただ、なんていうか寒気がすごいです。結構虫とか飛んでて、ちょっと暑いんですけど、なぜか寒気を感じる。ピーみたいな耳鳴りっぽい音も聞こえてる気します。あとちょくちょく動物ではない人の声みたいな、なんかそんな音が聞こえてる気がします。早く立ち去れと言われてるような、そんな感じの感覚になります。一応ちゃんとした神聖な場所なんで、僕の勝手なそういう思い込みでそういう雰囲気になってるだけかもしれないんですけど、さっきの男の人の鼻歌の件といい、やっぱりただの神聖な場所ではないような、そんな空気が感じます。
During the attempt to communicate, nothing extraordinary happens. There is almost complete silence. Not wanting to waste more time, Kuro ends the investigation and turns off the equipment. However, the static camera that Kuro had set up earlier managed to capture something interesting during the communication attempt. A mysterious pale demonic hand suddenly appears on the monument. The biggest mystery remains how someone managed to stick out a hand without revealing the rest of the body, assuming it was a hoax. Therefore, the second option is that it was a spirit haunting the place, and the hand that appeared earlier might have been an attempt by the spirit to reveal itself to Kuro. What do you think, folks? And we return once again to Japan, just like Kuro who captured the demonic hand. This time, along with Chibitama-san, we will visit another haunted temple. However, this building is completely different from the one in Kuro's footage. It is practically a ruin, threatening to collapse. Ignoring the warnings, Shibitama-san decides to visit this place. Nonetheless, he didn't expect to witness an unexpected encounter shortly after arriving.
はい、ありがとうございました。では帰ります。さようなら。
Until it completely disappears. What the hell was that? Was it the same apparition he managed to capture at the beginning of the investigation? How did the face in the gap dissolve into the air? But the most important question remains open. Did he really manage to capture a real ghost on camera that night or not? That decision is up to you.
Nevertheless, we do not venture far as we stay in Japan and join Kawachi, Nakamura, and Soji in a rather popular location visited by many ghost hunting groups. There, they meet Kiriki, who tells them that over half of these groups cannot endure the night and leave the mansion before dawn. They were soon to discover that this place truly deserves its haunted reputation.
で、ここの2部屋が今日基本的に滞在する、メインの部屋になるんですけど、この部屋は清掃してます。はい。ですけどこの部屋以外ほとんど触れてないんで、当時のそのままなんで。はい。はい。これは多分元々が持ち主。ここ結構築年数が正確に分かってないんですけど、かなりいろんな方が住んでたらしくて、多分住んでた方の一人ですね。
これ残留物っていうのはそのまま。
あ、残留物全くそのままです。上もそのままです。こっちのこの鏡も、これもともとあったやつなんですけど、
うわ人気がすごいし写真もすごい。
まあこれもともとあったやつで、写真あるんですけど、やっぱこう見ると、もうとんでもなく昭和の写真だなと。
これでも軍服ですよね、これ。
これ軍服っすね。
ですよね。どう見ても。
だ戦時中っすね。
軍人さんですよね。
で、こっちの棚に手紙これが挟まってて。
はいはい。今日で終わりです。まだ海が出たら来てください。
まあちょっと
海が出たら。
なんかの病気だったと思うんですよ。なんかの病気だったと思うんですけど、結構海が出る病、まあ今日で終わりですがちょっとよくわかんないですけど。
After entering the house, Kiriki guides the entire team room by room. You might be wondering if anything paranormal happened in the shown clip, and indeed it did. However, it's not so obvious. It's literally the same situation as with Shiroko's foot. In the mirror's reflection, for just a fraction of a second, you can see a mysterious, almost demonic hand reaching towards Soji. The apparition appears out of nowhere, only to vanish immediately. Throughout the rest of the investigation, apart from a few inexplicable noises, the night passes quietly. So, what do you think about this phenomenon? What could this strange hand be? Was it a ghost trying to manifest, or something even more sinister? That decision is up to you guys. Nevertheless, an equally interesting phenomenon was captured by Marcy's son, who, during his exploration of a ruined hotel in Taiwan, managed to capture this.
明らかに上に動体検知がなりました。ちょっと待って、すごすぎるな。一回ちょっと離れてキネクト取ります。このまま。上からどこ？ニハオ。ちょうど電磁波を起こしてる真上くらいですか。
His static camera on the ground at one point registers a strange black anomaly. It flies right in front of the lens. Was it something paranormal, or just a reflection of some object by a flashlight? You guys decide.